It's Monday, July 14th. Welcome to Citizen McCain. Just a reminder to please raise your digital hand if you want to ask a question. I keep forgetting to say that in the show. Raise your digital hand. We have a lot to get to today. Everyone, it is still like Epstein, Epstein, Epstein on acid, Miranda, and we're going to get to that. And Miranda and I have a lot to say. But you know that we are a very ghost friendly, paranormal friendly, always interested in these type of stories show. We just are. By the way, your doll is gone. Your Annabelle doll is not sitting
You just
behind
ruined
you.
it. Okay.
I'm sorry.
I got a thing with that. We'll get to it in a minute.
Miranda had a paranormal experience over the weekend, and it's not
Yeah.
only Miranda, her entire family did, including her husband, Nick. And we have a very special treat that Nick has agreed to come on the show for the first time ever. Your wife
Hey.
and I have been co-hosting for 10 years. It's the first time I think you've ever been on, Nick.
First time for
Thank you.
everything.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm happy to see you. Thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for being so supportive of your wife, doing this show for so long. We love Miranda. She's an angel from heaven, and we couldn't do the show without her. But I really need to hear this story, and so by proxy does our audience.
Hold
What?
on. Cece just kicked over all my lights. Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, I thought that it was something. I was like,
No
ghosts are
earthquake.
here. Yeah.
Maybe I should have gone with that. Actually, it's a better
You
story.
said that
Hang
there's
on.
like gardeners or something outside,
Oh my God, they're
outside
doing
your
tree
house,
trimming, and they have all this.
outside your house.
Cece, I specifically said don't.
So she texted me over the weekend that you guys, I didn't even know that you have ghosts in your house. I don't know how I missed this. For some reason, I thought you had ghosts at like your mother's house or something. I don't know. I
No, they're at
missed this.
our house. Okay, I'll set this up. So, when we very first moved in about 5 years ago, Nick and I were the only ones home. The girls were at our grandparents' house, and we were sleeping. We only literally had a mattress and a box spring on the floor, and our boxes were all in the living room. We were sleeping in our bedroom. We both independently saw a woman get up from the bed and walk across the room, like with like a long. Do you remember this? With like a long flowing robe or PJs, whatever. And it was like a silhouette. We both saw it the first morning that we lived there. And so we knew immediately that this place was haunted. It wasn't like a thing where it was like a series of weird stuff that happened. Instantly, we knew it. So from there, weird stuff has happened. Like I've felt very like heavy, spooky presences in our bathroom alcove in the master where it's like it gets especially dark and it'll be like pitch black dark in there. And I'll just feel like, ugh, like the weight of 1,000 people on me. And it's horrible and like really scary. In the hallways in our daughter Coco's room is very scary. Stuff will just fall out of her closet out of nowhere. Like we don't even go in that room. She doesn't live in there. It's like a storage room at this point now. Like no one even uses that room. It's the worst room in the house. So, and Nick, feel free to jump in and back me up.
Yeah, Nick.
He's just like,
I'm still here.
Have you guys done any research though, or has anyone told you like what happened in your house before you guys lived there?
It's been we looked it up. It's been condos since, and the people who live here or own this place, because we rent it, are friends of ours. So we've asked them and they said they never experienced anything when they lived here. We've lived here longer now than I think they did, but they never experienced anything here. But they also don't believe in this kind of stuff like we do. So maybe it's just we're more open to seeing it. But at the same time, where we live, there's a lot of Native American stuff. So travel to the West and all that. So I'm wondering if maybe just it happened to be because where we live happens to be like on top of a mountain and it's a very beautiful view and people probably would have settled here. So I'm just wondering if maybe we just happened to live where stuff happened. And so
what happened this weekend?
Nick, you got to tell the story because I'm inept at technology, as we all well know. And I something happened with the sound bar, technology, whatever. I couldn't figure it out. Nick can look at stuff and it'll be fixed. And so
what's a sound bar? Sorry.
It's like this. It's a sound bar underneath the TV. So it popped and
okay,
went
sorry
off.
guys. Duh.
Like surround sound.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like it popped and it turned off. I could not get the volume on the TV to work. Not even like the regular TV set volume to work. So whatever. I just turned it all off because Nick wasn't home. And so when he came home, he tried fixing it, but even his like normal troubleshooting couldn't work. So I'm gonna let him take it away because he had to like unplug the whole thing and reset it up. And when he did, the Wi-Fi on the TV was just circling, and then the TV started going like like very poltergeist. It was so poltergeist coded, Megan. I can't even tell you. It was so freaky. And then all of a sudden, very clear words started coming through, but the TV wasn't playing anything, and it was having a conversation with us. And I just was like,
What were
This
the
the whole
words?
time. Nick was having a conversation. He'd say something and the TV would respond back to him. It was
What did
horrifying.
you say, Nick?
So yeah, I was at my parents' house, and the day before, Miranda was struggling with the soundbar as well, and I was able to troubleshoot over the phone. Oh no, actually, I
This is the
got
same
there.
day. You got
Oh,
home.
okay. And so yeah, typical troubleshooting. Unmute it, unplug it, wait 10 seconds. And so by the time I got it all figured out and turned on, then I started troubleshooting. And like Miranda said, the circle of death was spiraling, and uh, I think it was one of our cartoon shows that we were watching was actually just on the main menu, and like Miranda said, we got this weird echo of this lady's voice, and it sounded like one of the characters on the show that was paused. So I was like, oh, maybe it's just playing in the background.
Like it was
And
channeling the characters' voices to say these words, but it wasn't words that they use in the show, if that makes sense.
What were they
right,
saying?
They were saying stuff like, it was like, I generally like your daughter.
yeah,
Yeah.
Oh
And
my
yeah,
God, you guys have to move.
that's what
yeah,
I
that's what
wanted
my
to get a
mom said.
hotel. I wanted to get a hotel. It was like, I generally like your daughter. And then Nick was like, which one? And then it was like, and then it just started laughing. The man's voice started laughing. And then the girl's voice started laughing. They were like, ha, 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 ha. It was like, I
With the
generally
echo.
like your daughter. And it was like,
Oh my God, I would have a
and
nervous break. I would be
I
like,
was
get
just like
out of
this.
the house.
And then,
Well,
and then it started going like, what did it say? What was the next thing it said? It was something like, let's have a conversation
yeah,
like that. And it was
Could someone be
so
screwing with you though? Like, could someone be
who? So
hacking
who though?
your?
Because Nick said that to me. He goes, "Are you fucking with me?" And I was like,
Yeah,
my phone was like 3 seats away from me. I was like, how? Both of my hands are on my face. I was terrified.
yeah. The
So
oh
day
my God.
before, she was struggling with the same sound bar, so I got home and fixed it within 10 seconds. And
he looks at it
so
and it gets fixed.
yeah, so yesterday when I get home and try and work on it, troubleshoot it, I thought she was messing with you the whole time. Now it's day two, but then the voices came out, and I was like, all right, you're messing with me. And she's just on the couch, just freaking out, and it was very silly, but um,
You
it
think it's
was it was
silly?
it was pretty intense. I'm not gonna
No, it
lie.
sounds scary.
Yeah,
So, what are you guys gonna do next?
Well, listen, we're in the middle of this like conversation with both of them. Okay. We've never experienced them together, only separately. And and he just unplugs the whole thing. He just pulls the plug. He's like, I'm done with this. He
I
didn't
think
even
that's
consult
fair.
me, first
I
of
think that's
all.
valid,
I
Nick.
wasn't
Like,
done with it.
I
But
think that's
I
fine.
wasn't, they weren't talking to me. They were just talking to him.
What are you guys gonna do though? Because I legitimately don't think I could stay in my house. I just don't. I think I'd have to go to a hotel.
I wanted to go to a hotel and we just like cooked dinner. We had spaghetti and went to bed
yeah.
and haven't slept right since. Neither of us. We've both been sleeping like garbage. So I don't
I've
know what
had
to tell you.
encounters before, so and typically they're pretty friendly.
Yeah, he got
This
saved as a
time,
child by a ghost.
yeah, I was falling down the stairs, and
Oh my
came
gosh.
around the corner, and my mom's like, "I heard you fall. Are you okay?" And yeah, the lady saved me. I'm fine.
My
So I've
gosh.
Like three
encountered
or
stuff like
four.
this before, and I've never had negative experiences. So I'm just keep on living.
I feel
He's
like you
along
guys
for the
should get
ride.
maybe an expert of some kind to come see what's happening because that's a very aggressive, intense experience. And saying I generally like your daughter, I mean,
And they only said, I generally like your daughter.
Two
yeah,
daughters.
like,
Not daughters.
and
We have
also that's not
two.
saying like I love your daughter, she's amazing. It's saying like as a
Like
generalization, I like your, you know what I mean?
that's the
It's
joke
like,
we were making all night. It's like, which one? And she's fine. Like she's all right.
yeah, she's okay, I guess. The other one, not so
We're like,
much.
yeah, we know, we get it. They're kind of
Well,
annoying.
I think you guys should really get like maybe this is something we can do at the show. Like, I think you should get an expert, honestly, like a
Get like an
paranormal person
exorcism
to
in our
come
house.
in. No, I just think you should know what's happening, what's going on for whatever it's worth. I was just home in Arizona and not to be like macabre with you guys, but the bedroom or like the area that my dad died in has a really comfortable bed in it. And
Yeah.
my husband was like, do you think I can sleep in there? Like, or we can sleep in there? And I was like, I actually have no negative energy from this room. I was like, I actually don't feel anything like at all. And my theory is that my dad passed on to the next realm or whatever, to the afterlife, because he was ready. Like, I don't think he's a ghost still haunting anything. So
But
I don't
even
know.
if he were, like, his spirit probably wouldn't hang out in that room.
I mean,
Like,
I hope not, because it
right?
really is a lovely room.
You know, like,
But
I
I'm
mean,
just saying,
of all the
maybe,
places to be, like that
maybe
room.
someone died, like in your house. Maybe
I
like,
think it was a violent thing because the lady feels
yeah.
fine. The man feels terrible. Like he's got bad vibes and it's in our bathroom and I hate being in there. And it's the worst spot in the whole house. And there and in Coco's room. Bad things happened in there and in Coco's room. And I can't explain it further. Cece's room is the best room in the house. And that's
I
why
Well,
mean,
we
I
do the
yeah,
think,
show in there.
you're home
That's
more
why
often than I am, but
I literally
I
never leave this
typically,
house.
when we first moved in, saw him more in the hallway or in our bedroom, not
Yeah.
necessarily the bathroom. That's kind of creepy, but yeah, mostly hallway. But now for sure, living room.
Living room
well,
for
I
sure.
think that I legitimately think we need to send a paranormal expert to your house. I'm sorry, I do. I think this is a bridge too far. No, this is too much. This is a lot, and it's very scary. And if it happened to me, I would be crying and screaming. And like,
Oh no, we were
you guys are being
laughing.
very cool about it. I would not. I would be like, I had a near-death experience with some aggressive ghosts.
No,
I don't like any of
immediately
that
I was like,
stuff.
this is for the show. This is all her fault.
Oh,
And no, actually, she just lives in here and she watches over the girls when they
Yes,
sleep. And this is still the
we
nicest
love
room in the house.
Annabelle.
maybe they followed me from my parents' house.
No,
I
because
don't
the
know.
lady is nice and the man is mean and the man got buried in
That's
the
what they
backyard
said at my
with the
parents'
spa.
house.
They dug him up
Hmm.
when they built the spa. That's all.
Well, Nick, is there anything else you want to add before we move on to Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself drama that we're gonna continue to delve
Gotta pull out our
further in?
Christmas ornament.
No, you
Yes,
guys look amazing, and you
thank
guys do a
you.
great job. Thank you.
Thank
And Nick,
you.
thank you so much. It's such a pleasure having you. Come back anytime if you want to talk about ghosts or anything else. And we love Miranda so much. I can't live without her. I know you can't either. So we'll just have that in common. She does a wonderful job for us, and we're so lucky. Thank you.
Thank
See you
you.
soon.
Bye.
I'm
Love
Bye.
serious,
you.
Miranda.
Love
We're gonna
you.
get we're gonna get on this. We have to send a paranormal expert to your house, even if I have to pay for it personally. But we are going to move on. Thank you so
Need
much
a
for
young
everyone.
priest and an old priest. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think maybe a little holy water might not hurt anything. But we have one of our favorites, our
I
old friend.
honestly, I did cross myself when this was all going on. I was like, nope,
I
I'm
don't
not
blame
dealing
you.
with this.
I
Ugh.
would too.
Yeah.
We have our old friend Ben Ferguson here. I believe that he is here. Is that correct?
I
Yes,
am.
Ben.
Ben,
Hi.
hi,
Thank you
Ben.
for listening to Miranda's
So,
ghost story. I know you're
so
in the
should
waiting.
we come clean and just tell Miranda and Nick that the reality is you and I got a key to their house and we're just screwing with them?
Yeah,
Like
Ben and I went in for
Honestly, I
content
would
for the
have, I'd
show.
be really
Megan
mad at
and
you
I
for not
get
coming up.
Yes,
So
we
Ben
I
get
Ferguson and I broke
bored.
in together.
We get
Yes.
bored and we look for easy targets. And we were like, Miranda, yes. Nick, oh yes. Like
obviously,
this is a
yeah.
no-brainer. Like we
I'd
can
be
mess with
so mad at
them.
you guys for not
It's
coming up and
super
having a
easy.
drink. I'd kill
Look,
you.
there's these
I'd kill
little
you and make you
Bluetooth
haunt my house
speakers,
again.
and we put them in your house, and we just play with you over the internet. It's really fun.
Oh, you
Yes,
guys would be
that is
so
actually
dead.
what happened.
Oh,
Ben, we have so much to talk to you about. I'm so glad you could come on today because you're so busy. For people that don't know, but everyone knows, Ben is a podcast and talk radio host. He co-hosts The Verdict with Ted Cruz, and he has the host of the 47 Morning Update. You can follow him on X at Ben Ferguson Show. Obviously, you have been talking. I've seen you on TV. I've seen you on Fox. By the way,
You
you
stop
have
seeing me send money because that means I'm unemployed. Okay.
you're everywhere. I see you all over the internets, all over TV. And by the way, you go on Piers Morgan. I tip my hat to you. I wouldn't go on that show if I was on fire and I needed water. I'm not going on
I
that. That
use
show is
I
wild.
used an adult word the other night on Piers Morgan's show. I lost my you know what. It felt good though. I'm not gonna lie.
By the
Not
way,
at
you
him, at a
never
guest. And I was just like, I'm done with you, and here it is. And I just like I went for it.
you never lose your cool either. So it must have
Ever.
been pretty bad. I gotta
No,
find it.
it was the guy was a scumbag and he was making jokes about kids dying in the Texas floods. And I was like,
Oh my
and
God.
I just let it go. I let it go. I felt good about you would have been proud of me. Your dad would have been proud as well.
I mean, I don't, I'm not a Daisy, neither is Miranda. We don't mind a
no.
little swearing
We
Yeah.
here and
swear all the
there.
time. We're the worst. Yeah.
I guess we should just start with the Texas floods, though, before we get to Epstein. You're obviously a Texas resident, and you work with the amazing Senator Ted Cruz. We
Yeah.
love him. How is everyone doing? It's like the most horrific nightmare hellscape story. I just been praying for those families. Feel so bad for the victims. Is there any update you can give
Yeah.
anybody? And how's the community doing?
It is rough. So this is an area, Megan, where actually we spend a lot of time. Take my kids there. And Kerrville is where the ranch is. That we have family that has a ranch there. So my kids have grown up in Kerrville. It is a very, very small community. It's rural. And it is just one of the tiniest little towns with people that just absolutely love having visitors. Hundreds of thousands, for example, and some even thought it may be up towards 1 million. I don't remember the final number. Actually went to Kerrville to see the eclipse that happened not that long ago. Because it was one of the areas of what I guess total darkness. And so we went and to watch it, and everyone was so kind as people were driving in from all over. And 4th of July, the Guadalupe River there is this awesome river that's really calm, and you float down it. You put floats out there, you tie up with family and friends, and you float the river. A lot of people camp there. A lot of people bring their RVs down there. And 4th of July, that area just swells with people. There's also these camps. And unfortunately, we know my wife went to school with someone that lost their daughter at this camp. And we have other family and friends that have been going to funerals over the last several days and are still trying to find their loved ones. And so it's touched us, I think, in a very personal way. Plus, when you look at the kids who passed away, my kids are 6, my twins are 6, my oldest is 8. They're right in there. And when you're driving around town, you'll see schools that have the green ribbons, and you know that a kid was lost at that school. You'll see neighborhoods where every single street, the tree is wrapped in a green ribbon, and you know that a kid lived in that neighborhood. And the way that the water rose there, and there's been so many people that just put, I think, misconceptions out there, and there's been conspiracy theories on cloud seeding and all this other stuff. If you understand the hill country, you wouldn't be going there. The hill country is a lot of rock, and when it rains, you get flash floods because the water does not absorb into the soil. It builds up and it rushes quickly, and you know that if you're there, and you know that risk. But this was a 100-year flood. This had never happened before. We had a terrible flood there back in the late 80s, and some people died. So all of the cabins were built above the level on the Guadalupe of a quote 100-year flood, and yet it still happened in a way that no one could imagine. A lot of this was like Hurricane Rita that came to Houston. It circled around the weather and it didn't move out, and so it was just dumping rain without the system moving through. And so that's how you got this. It's just like when Houston flooded, where that hurricane came and it just circled and it stayed and it didn't move across the country like it traditionally does. And so the water rose, it was like a tidal wave. If you look at the videos and you see it, and people are like, well, why were the kids where they were? They built these cabins, and kids go to these cabins every single year for decades and decades, and the water had never gotten close to these cabins. They thought they were above what was humanly possible for flooding. And unfortunately, this was a once in a lifetime 100-year event that took place, and it took a lot of people's lives. The sad part is now, there's a lot of people that are really worried they may not find their loved ones for a couple of different reasons. You've had more flooding that's happened in the last 24 hours. They had to suspend the search for bodies because of that. There's a lot of sediment and a lot of trees and a lot of things that are compacting down on even cars they're finding that are at the base of the said edge of the river, where they're completely almost entombed. And so they're using dogs to try to find remains. But you have another problem with wild animals. And so that's part of the reality of this now, is some of the remains may have been taken off from where they would originally have been found because of animals. It's a rural area. You have a lot of animals, wild animals there. And it's just so tragic. I've talked to families that have lost children. I talked to one dad who had 2 daughters at the camp. One survived, one didn't. I don't know how you do that. I mean, we have kids, you know what it's like. And so what I would say to people is 2 things. One, be careful what you post, because families do see it. And when you go into grand conspiracy theories and everything else, you're just hurting them. That's one thing I think has been really frustrating to people I've talked to that are directly connected, is just how people are in essence profiting off of clickbait and coming up with these wild things. And sometimes it's just as simple as a lot of rain happened and it stayed there and it didn't move out. The second thing is they need a lot of help rebuilding, and there's a lot of great charities that are down there rebuilding. There's an old man, and it was a video I posted on social media a moment ago, and the people in this community are just incredible. He's an older man. He set up a table, and all he's doing, because it's what he knows how to do, is sharpen chainsaw blades and fix chainsaws. And he's been doing it for days. And he's like a chainsaw warrior. And these guys are going down there clearing debris, looking for loved ones. And they bring this man, and he's just sharpening the blades and keeping these chainsaws running. That's the spirit of the people in Texas that are here to help. I will say one of the other encouraging things is to watch government actually not screw up for once at the local, state, and the national level and work together in harmony has been incredible to witness. Because it's just been everyone working together and the response has been unbelievable. The heroes of one guy was his very first time on a mission with the Coast Guard, saved 100, and I think it was 64 lives when it happened.
We
He was the
played his
first one up.
clip, yeah.
Yeah, it's
he's
just like,
amazing.
yeah, Senator
Would you, by
Cruz.
the way, tell Senator Cruz, I think that the people should honor him somehow in an
100%.
official ceremony. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if in the, Texas state delegation or even like nationally, but I mean, what an incredible person to do
No,
that.
it's and I love the guy. They interviewed him and he was like, dude, I'm just a dude. He's like a surfer
Yeah.
dude. He's like, I'm just a dude that did my job.
And he was like, I've been trained for 6 months. And I was like,
Yeah.
like,
And
know.
he's like, and I think there's like when you're younger and you're just that's what you want to do with your life. It's like, let's go. It's like the same men and women that signed up in our military after 9/11. They're just like, let's go. Like, let's go kill terrorists. This guy's job was to save lives. It's like, let's go save as many lives as I possibly can. And I'm sure he wasn't counting. I'm sure it was just like, let's do this. And so I do think there's some incredible stories. I think you're going to see him be honored for sure. The White House, I'm pretty sure he met the president. He's met Senator Cruz, and he was just as humble as could be. And just like, I did my job. Like, I don't know if I'm a hero. I just did my job. They trained me well and they needed it and I did it, and it would have been me or anybody else. But like, those are I think the incredible stories, but there's a lot of rebuilding. There's a lot of help that's going to be needed. And so I do think that the charities are doing a great job helping people with initial payments and trying to get them what they need to rebuild, because they're going to. There's a lot of elderly that have, I think, kind of almost been overlooked because anytime children are involved, the tragedy there, but a lot of people retire in this area and it's their dream retirement and they've lost everything. I mean, their house was just completely taken off the stilts and it's gone, and they don't have places to go. And so if you can help, I tell people, please help, please donate to a charity of your choice. There's a lot that are involved, but it is just total devastation down there. And it's going to take years for them to get back to normal.
Yeah, it's just, I mean, it's just such a almost unthinkable tragedy. And obviously, I can put on my socials if there's any charities you think we should be donating to or highlighting, please let us know. And, it's just terrific. And I really still pray for the community. And, it's just so sad. Everything about it is so tragic and sad.
The one thing I've said to somebody yesterday when we went to church yesterday, and they had a pastor that came up who was the pastor of the largest church in New Orleans before Katrina. And that pastor was talking about how his church flooded and also how his home flooded and how he had to go to Birmingham. And he was like, I was angry. I was angry at God. I was angry that people that went to my church died. I was angry that my house had flooded. I was angry that my church of worship was flooded. I was angry that all these people were displaced that were never going to come back. I was angry that the Ninth Ward, some people died, and that's where he grew up. And it was a really powerful sermon from a man who went through this, saying, we don't have all the answers of why these things happen, but what does happen is community rallies and people love one another and they help one another and they stand by them and they hold their hand through it. The Bubble Inn is a great story of that. I don't know if you guys know, but the cabin where the basically all the girls inside were lost was called the Bubble Inn. And there are little crosses that are outside of where the Bubble Inn was. And the families have just rallied together and they're going to each other's funerals, and they're in a fraternity, a club for life, and they're helping each other and they're showing up for one another. I can't imagine being in that scenario as a dad. I can't imagine going to all of those funerals, but they're doing it for every one of them and they're doing it together. And I just think it shows you the resilience of people and families and loved ones, but they're going to need a lot of prayer. I can't imagine going through it. Just talking and seeing it and witnessing it has just been incredible. And again, I mean it when I say it, like, there are people that $50 is going to make a difference in their life. These seniors that are on fixed income, their whole dream was to retire in a small house and just not be bothered and just live together their last days, and they've lost it all. So if you can help, I'll say it again, please help. There's a lot of people that it will make a big difference. Yeah.
And like I said, if there's anything you want us to highlight afterward on my socials or on our show socials, obviously be happy to,
Please.
Ben. And come on and please talk to us about any updates you have. Miranda had just sent her daughter to camp right before this happened. So I think it's touching a lot of nerves to a lot of parents, obviously, understandably. And It's just a really horrific tragedy.
It is.
I do want to move on if you feel like you've said
Let's do it.
everything you think. Okay. So I don't know about you, and this is like, hard to pivot to this, but everyone in my life who pays attention to politics or who doesn't pay attention to politics is really obsessed with this Epstein story. Like even my friends who like don't like, know like I don't know who Senator Cruz is necessarily, like, because they're that disengaged. But I want to show you a clip really quick. Turning Point. Were you at Turning Point, by the way, this
I
weekend?
was not.
No,
But
yeah.
but I heard about the clip you're about to play, so I'm ready for it.
Okay, we have to play this clip. It came across my transom and it was all over X this weekend. This is Megyn Kelly at Turning Point, talking to Charlie Kirk, basically talking about the fallout from the Epstein scandal. Number 2, please.
She is the reason that things are unraveling around this story right now that virtually all of the Republican Party cares deeply about. It's also true that Dan Bongino and Kash Patel had questions about Epstein before they took office, okay, before they went into the FBI. But once they joined the FBI, they said nothing. They've kept their mouths shut about Epstein. You have not seen them, except for one joint appearance with Dan and Kash on Fox, running all over the media looking for attention on this, yes, clickbaity story. Who have you seen? Pam Bondi. She has never missed an opportunity to go on television and dangle sweet nothings that might be coming your way. Try to lead you to believe that she's got it, it's on her desk, it's coming tomorrow, you're going to see something on Epstein. And it was a tease. So you either believe that Pam Bondi was telling the truth then, or that she's telling the truth now, but both cannot be true.
Okay, so Ben, I just want to start with, I understand that people are angry and they feel like they're entitled to see the Epstein list if it exists. I understand that people are saying this is a broader deep state conspiracy and Trump is becoming part of the deep state instead of dismantling it. But I just want to say one quick thing. I really like and respect Pam Bondi as a person and as Attorney General. I think she's doing a really good job. She's trying to get fentanyl off the streets. And she really understands like the existential crisis of the drug trade in America. And I think she's being unfairly targeted. I don't think she should lose her job. Feel free to disagree with me if you do. And what's been your take on all of this? Because I've been actually surprised at the level of visceral reaction to this over the past few days.
Well, look, when you campaign off of, we're going to give you the Epstein files and we're going to put them out there and you're going to see it and we're going to have transparency, and people feel like that's the exact opposite of what's happening, you're going to be really pissed off. And look, I also think this was a PR screw up on so many different levels. And let me say that the principal basis of this is, look, I want to protect victims. I don't want them to be outed or doxxed. So I start with that at the beginning, and I want to make that clear. It is hard to put out some of this information, and you do have to be careful to make sure that you're not doxing somebody and exposing them to, you are on the Epstein list, what happened to you if you don't want to talk about it. Like, we should protect victims. Number one, first and foremost, I want to say that. With that being said, when you bring a bunch of social media influencers, some of them I know, to the White House, and you hand them a file that says the Epstein files part 1, and you send them out there to look like a bunch of dumbasses when it's nothing new in there, that's a really bad move. Like, that was a bad PR move. And then they're like, well, there's more
that was
coming. Because I think they wanted there to be this big moment of like, we're doing this and rolling this out, and here's part 1 and part 2's coming, and part 2 has never come. And now you're saying there's like nothing there and there's no list. And we've got like you may have just screwed it up trying to play the media game here. And if you did, is that a fireable offense? I don't think so. But at least come out and say, hey, we screwed this up. Like, we thought there was more after looking at it. But again, I go back to transparency here. Donald Trump said we were going to see the Epstein files. I think we need to see the Epstein files, whatever that is. If the binder is it, then you've got a PR problem. But if there's more, then I want to see more, and let me be the judge of it, because I don't like the idea there being a cover up. I don't like the idea that there's maybe conservatives that people are now saying they're trying to protect. I don't like the idea that they said there's a lot more coming and it's on our desk and we're going through it, we're being careful, and then nothing else is coming. Like, from just a total PR standpoint, you couldn't have done a more terrible job of getting everyone excited that we're finally going to see what this is. And now all of a sudden you're like, yeah, there's nothing there. Like, They're like, what are you doing? Like, this is PR 101 and a 100 level class in college. Like, this is you never oversell and underdeliver when you're doing things. But like, I would be, I'll tell you what, I was not at the White House. I was not invited to go for that Epstein. They did social media influencers.
Be glad you weren't. I mean,
right. But I would be livid if I was used in that way as a stooge. Like, if I got a phone call the next time from someone that put me in a room, gave me a file and walk out in front of the camera and did that, I'd be like, I'll pass the next time, because now they look stupid because they sold it to their audience. They believed that there was something there. There was nothing new in those files. It's everything we'd already been reported on and new. And then they're like, well, there's going to be more coming. We're going to have you back. And they never got invited back. Like, this was just a colossal screw up. So if Dan Bongino's upset, I get it, right? If Kash Patel's upset, I get it. If Pam Bondi overplayed this, which it seems that she probably did, then there needs to be some sort of like more than a statement put out saying this is where we are. I also think when President Trump said, why are we still talking about Epstein the other day? Dude, you talked about on the campaign trail a lot. Like, you can't Jedi mind trick MAGA voters. They're hardcore conservatives. You promise them transparency. Don't act like it's time to move on for it. If there's nothing there, then be transparent about the nothing that's there. But they've got to do a better job of putting a bow on this, or it's going to just make people not trust them on other issues. And that, look, in politics, Megan, you know this, all you've got is trust. And when you lose trust of voters, especially your supporters, that's when you start getting underwater. And this is a dumb thing to lose trust over. I think they should have not oversold the beginning. I think it's a cautionary tale in politics. If I was teaching a class at a university right now on politics 101, I would use this as a case study of like, hey, do not do this ever, because it's not going to help you out.
Yeah. Our friend Jessica Krause, who runs House and Habit, who's a legitimate, very good friend of mine. And I adore her. And I think she's like, does incredible work. And
she was there, right? Wasn't she invited to come?
Was. Yes. So this morning on her Substack, she actually printed out, or she copied and showed every part of the binder. She sent it to her followers on her Substack list. She has a massive Substack following, millions of followers. And one of the things I was surprised about, because I've never actually looked at it before, is how much is redacted? Like, it's just blocks and blocks of black.
Blocks,
and I was like, first thing if I would do for the Trump administration is I would unredact that and be like, this is what I can give you right now. Because again, why is anything redacted? We should know that information. Another thing is there's a lot of really, really famous people on these lists. And like, I get that, like, I mean, Minnie Driver, Courtney Love, basically every member of the Kennedy family, by the way, like, which again, I have major questions about that. Jimmy Buffett, which made me like wildly sad because I love Jimmy Buffett. I'm a fan of his. And look, there, I guess, is a situation where you're just so enamored by a billionaire, you want to fly on a private jet that you go on that plane. But I was telling actually our next guest, Kristen Colonel Curts, this morning, that as has happened with you, Ben, when you are even like have some kind of semi-public profile, a lot of times people will make you offers that are insidious, that are morally compromising. I've talked about how I've had a foreign government. Totally. It happens. You have to be very judicious about where you go, who you go with, what dinners you go to, who you go to. I have been,
Megan, at this level, you and I, and again, you are way more, I think, name recognition, obviously, from the View and hosting at Fox than I am. But like, now I say this all the time. There is no such thing as a free dinner or a vacation. There is no such thing as a free dinner anymore. When someone asks me to dinner, I'm like, what's the angle? Unless it's a friend. If it's you and I going to dinner, that's different. But if it's someone I don't know, like, and I play defense all the time for this exact reason. There's certain people you're like, I don't know if I want to be connected. The number of times I will vet somebody with people I trust, like, hey, this person said they want to have breakfast.
I've called you.
Yeah.
I mean, probably 100 times over different people approaching me for different reasons.
What do you think of this person? What do you think of this?
Does this seem shady? Does this seem whatever? And again, this is you and me. I'm not, a billionaire, whatever. So the problem I have with this is I do think it's an issue if you're on the list at all. I do. I'm sorry. And I don't. Tell me why.
So here's the thing. I'll give you a great example. I've had dinner.
You've never shown up on a pedophile's flight log, Ben.
Flight log's different. Fair point. But what I'm saying is there are some people that I think were involved with Epstein early on that didn't know about Epstein and what he was doing, that maybe they get, in my opinion, a free pass because they actually just thought they were hanging out with someone that was in the realm and a rich guy. Like when Trump kicked him out of Mar-a-Lago, for example.
Let's leave it
in
to
like 2018,
logs.
2019, when he went to jail for like his original
anyone after
prostitution charges.
Anyone after that, what the hell are you doing? Right?
Yeah.
Like if you're convicted of a sex crime and you're going to an island with that dude afterwards or hanging out with him afterwards, like the dude over in the UK, whatever the hell his name was in the royal family, and like meeting with him in the park, Andrew, like that is, I'm on board with that. But if it's in the 80s and early 90s, like I'll give you quasi a pass.
Can I tell you though,
just regular
I'm really happy that
either. It was early
it was
14
sex
years old.
trafficking of kids and whatever.
I'm with
minors.
you, but totally with you.
Nobody with my last name's on the goddamn flight log or in his phone I'm just saying, like, people keep asking me, like, nope, nothing. I mean, first of all, that's really, if you knew 10 things about my dad or like one thing about my dad, the last thing he would want to do is hang out with a billionaire on a plane. All he ever wanted to do is go fishing in Cottonwood. Like, it's like the last goddamn thing he would want to do.
No such thing as a free meal.
I know. And that is the point of this, though, is like some of these people have to be smart enough to know that like he wants something in return from you. And again, you're talking about, okay, we'll say anyone past 2019 after he's been convicted. And I do think like, I want to know, were you cool with a pedophile? Were you at an island where a pedophile was abusing and, raping young people and you didn't give a shit? Like, so I feel the frustration, and part of the problem that I feel, like part of my anger is like, it does feel like there are people that are too big to fail. Like you're talking about like the high echelons of society of like wealth and power.
There would be, I would say probably hundreds of arrests that would have taken place, in my opinion, if this was a lower level list of clients. I just believe that. Remember several years ago, what congressman or senator that got tied up in a high ring hooker ring? Do you remember that in DC? There was somebody that was a high class.
Who was that?
Girl.
Yes.
Spitzer.
Maybe Spitzer. I can't. Yeah, Google it and find out so we don't get sued. Whoever it was that was put into that, like they were like, well, they have this long list, and same thing. It was high net wealth, high up individuals, high up level people in politics. I'm sure on both sides of the aisle, there was this massive, high end call girl service apparently in Washington D.C. that was happening. Everyone apparently knew about it. There was big names on the list, and none of them came out. Like none of them came out. And that is the double standard. If you got money or power or fame, and there's enough people around, it's like everyone just kind of protects with their government sources, and they're just like, let's just move this over here. One person goes down. What's her name that's that's in jail right now? His madam girlfriend, right? She takes the fall. No one else has been arrested. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
I know.
Come on. I'm not that dumb.
Steve Bannon at Turning Point, he said that if this cover-up continues, 10% of the MAGA base will walk away, lose them now. We lose 40 seats in 2026 and the presidency in 2028. I don't think it's that dire. Do you agree with him?
Oh, I do, actually. I really do. When
We're
Steve
disagreeing today, Ben. Okay,
I know, right? I love this. Yeah, no, look, Steve is a guy that understands the MAGA base and is in touch with them every day, like the core. And for many of the MAGA base, transparency is everything. And if you don't get this right or undo what you just did, I think there's a lot of voters that will stay home. And I absolutely believe, Steve Bannon, that we will have a bloodbath in the midterms because there's so many people that be so turned off to how hard they work for these candidates. And then all of a sudden it happens again, right? The same thing that happened to the Tea Party when everybody was running as a Tea Party candidate. Then a bunch of them got elected. And what happened? They weren't actually Tea Party people. They were mods. And then what happened? We had a bloodbath in the midterms because everybody's like, I just got you elected. You said you were a Tea Party patriot. You said you were a hardcore conservative. You said you were going to reduce the size of government. You didn't do it. You used the name to get elected. And you're a Pharisee. And now we're done with you. So I actually think Steve Bannon's probably right on this. I think the anger that you're witnessing remember, the people that are most mad about this list now are the hardcore Trump supporter. It is not the left. And it's not your traditional GOP voter. It is the MAGA Trump supporter that shows up for the rallies that feel like they've been betrayed right now. And look at the people they brought to the White House, by the way, for that Epstein file book, The White Binder. It was hardcore MAGA influencers. It wasn't mainstream at all. Like I wasn't invited because I probably wasn't MAGA enough for that room.
You
I
can't run
mean,
on draining the swamp and then become the actual swamp.
Bingo.
So the
so
left already knew the deal with the Epstein files. This is cronyism or deep state or whatever you want to call it. This is the worst of the worst that they've always pointed the finger at the left.
Well, and look, I don't know how much of it's true with Bongino and him taking the
well,
Friday
that's what I
off.
wanted to ask. Do you think he's
Yeah.
going to quit?
Right.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
don't
But
think he'll
it's him,
quit.
it's her or me thing. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. Well, Donald. Look, first of all, Bongino is a guy that's pretty intense. Some would say he's a hothead. I think Bongino is also a pretty smart guy, and I don't think he's dumb enough to go in the White House and say it's either me or her, Mr. President, because Donald Trump doesn't play that game. Number one, and never
No.
would. I don't care who it is. I think he'd be like, "See you later," like have a great life, and then trash you on the way out the door. So I don't buy that. I think that's the media overselling that story. I do think Dan Bongino's like, I gave up a lot. I had a massive podcast and radio show. I had a lot of money
Like
coming
$5
in.
million a year.
Yeah, like,
Weekend show
and
on
I gave it
Fox,
up
right?
to come here, and now this is what you're doing. Like, I can understand why he might want to take a Friday off if that's in case, in fact, like, hey, I'm not coming here to get something. I gave up my microphone to come here and do good work. And so I'd be probably mad as hell if I was Bongino as well. So I think those voices in the presidency are going to also hopefully have an impact as well.
Yeah, it's interesting on his part too, because he had been on Fox a few weeks ago, basically saying like he's miserable at his job, like that
Wasn't he crying? Yeah.
he was crying, yeah. And again, like whatever. But so on, it's already like he's already unhappy, and now it looks like he's like sort of a deep state puppet. He just does look, it's just part of the game. Like you go on these levels, and this is what's happening. So I actually think he might quit.
Dude,
but I agree with
government is still government. And I go back to Elon Musk and Doge. Like, how long did it take him to realize that even him coming in with as much capital as he had still was incredibly hard to beat Washington, D.C. And was like, all right, I'm out of here, right? Like, I'm done. Like, I'm going to go back to my companies now, because you realize just how broken our governmental system is. Bongino was in it before, but when you see it from the viewpoint where he is, the second guy in command, it's it's hard to break Washington.
Oh yeah, and it's the buildings are gross, and you're not paid anything, and it's like, yeah, I don't know,
You're away from your family. It's all
Yeah,
but not only
like,
that,
really hard.
What I think people don't. I think one of the biggest things when I have friends have called me, and they're like, "I'm going to go to the administration." I'm like, you do realize you no longer have your own voice. You're speaking on behalf of the administration now.
No more fun tweets.
You can't go out there every day and do TV. It doesn't work that way. You're giving up your influence and your power to be in the room for the people that hopefully will listen to you with your influence and your power with them. And you might get something done. But like, this is not as simple as like, I'm mad as hell and I'm going on TV today. I'm going to let it fly, right? Like you lose the ability to speak what you really believe in public. You can only do it in private, and usually have to do it very respectfully. And if you cross the line there, you may not be invited back in the room tomorrow.
Ben, what's your feeling of Megyn Kelly's criticism that Pam was going on TV too much? Do you think that's accurate?
Look, if this is what we get out of it, then hell yeah. You get I don't think she was going on TV too much if you had the goods to deliver. Tom Homan is a great example of this, right?
I love him, by the way.
Oh, he's amazing. Tom's on TV a lot, but he's delivering the facts of who we're going after, who we're arresting, how many people are sex offenders and drug traffickers and cartel members that we're getting off the streets. And he's going out there every day and fighting on CNN. He was on State of the Union, I think it was yesterday morning, and just obliterated Dana Bash with facts. Like, that's good, right? Like, I want you out there doing that. But if you go out there and do the media schedule that Pam Bondi did on Epstein files, and then you don't have anything behind it to back it up, it's a problem.
Yeah. Is there anything else you want to end on before we say goodbye, Ben? I love you.
I miss you guys. I'm so glad. Thanks for having me back. As always.
We miss you too. Come back.
We've tried to get you on numerous. You were busy
with Piers Morgan.
I was trapped. So I was traveling. We were out of town, and we finally got a family vacation in, which was awesome. And then
don't think we didn't notice
golf tournaments right now. So like, we're in the heat of summer golf tournament season.
You did put up, I think you either sent me a picture or you posted a picture in the pool with your kids. And I was like, oh, He's having fun. He's having he's having a good time with his family. All right. I guess I'll allow it. Whatever. Come back literally anytime. I love you. Text me soon. And you can follow Ben on The Verdict with Ted Cruz or the 47 Morning Update. You can follow him on X at Ben Ferguson Show and all the crazy media. You'll go on things I would never go on. I really give it up to you. You have like just a spine of steel. I would never go on with some of the people you go on. And you must really like debating. And you go on that awful CNN show that like is like Jerry Springer.
But
I can't
you know
what?
Like, Megan, it's like therapy for me because I walk in there and I just like crack my back, stretch a little bit, and I'm like, hold my Diet Coke and watch.
No,
this.
you always do an incredible job, but I'm just like, you're surrounded by like abject morons with 6 brain cells who are like, why can't we have children doing labor in marijuana farms?
Right.
Why can't I have a 7-year-old?
Yeah.
We should allow a 7-year-old to, for anyone that just looked that up. That's so fun. A host on CNN was like, we should have small children be doing manual labor in marijuana farms. Like, let's all just take
family values right there, my friends. Family values. And slave labor, all while you get high.
In marijuana. Yeah. Anyway. Okay. Anyway, we'll see you anywhere and everywhere and come back soon, Ben. I love you.
See you guys. Love y'all.
Thank you.
Oh,
okay. Love Ben. And we're so excited for our next guest. This next guest actually is someone I've been texting, another person I text profusely all the time.
We can't do a show without her at this point.
Yes,
we need her
apparently
every day.
I can't do a show without you,
Kristen.
Yes, we have Kristen Lacefield, aka Colonel Curts, who's a famous YouTuber and cultural commentator and a former English professor. I always love that about you. And you can follow her on X and YouTube at Colonel Curts 99. Kristen, we have to continue talking about Epstein because you're so angry and I'm angry and Miranda's angry and we're just like what a mess this is.
I'm just shocked, and it's not. And look, I'm as cynical about politics and politicians as anyone, so I'm not shocked that there's some seediness, something going on here, or shady in the background. I am just absolutely dumbfounded at the terrible, like in the toilet PR game that Trump and his people are playing right now. And I don't know if the buck truly stops with Trump or how much Bondi, as Megyn Kelly said, has screwed up stuff and laid the groundwork for this. I don't know what's going on. I really don't. But I just know that Truth Social post that Trump produced a couple of nights ago, it was jaw-droppingly terrible. And I know that there are a number of MAGA diehards out there. Look, I'm in Texas, red state. Almost everybody that I know voted for Trump. I certainly supported Trump over the alternatives in every election. But the MAGA diehards who are saying that we just need to trust the president and forget about this, they're not paying attention to the utter incompetence that Trump and his people have shown in their handling of this. I'm just talking about on a basic PR messaging level, just like your guest. Your guest was absolutely astute. That dude needs to be running Trump's PR right now because he was right. They have not handled this well. And your guest said that they needed to handle it better. We're not even in the realm of better right now. We are so far in the gutter with that messaging. That was an insane rant that Trump gave us the other night. Hey, guys and gals, what's up with my guys? And in some cases, my gals, what's up?
Honestly, my new favorite meme, quite
We're
frankly.
talking about sex trafficking, potentially of children, depending on your definition of children, but of minors and vulnerable people. We're talking about something that was held out to the Republicans and to the MAGA people as red meat for months and months and months by various people who are now in this administration. And we're supposed to now just forget about it because Trump says so. What was all of that rambling about this being, almost suggesting that this was some kind of a Democratic psyop, the Epstein stuff? Oh, the Democrats wrote the files. Well, then why have we been so concerned about these files then for months and months or years? And people are not this stupid. And so what I want to say to Trump is that the problem here, sir, beyond the actual issue of Jeffrey Epstein and whether certain people committed crimes or not, the issue right before you now is that you are coming across to your base, so to speak, as being utterly condescending. You're coming across as like a Richard Nixon. I'm not a crook. Let's move on. Rosie O'Donnell needs to be deported. I mean, what is it? It's bizarre. It's flailing, even for Trump, who I know can go off script at times. This is just astounding It's just astounding incompetence at the very least. It's condescension, and it feels like gaslighting. And so this is not going
Does
to
feel like
cut it.
gaslighting.
He needs to get his shit together. His people need to get their shit together. I don't care who resigns or who's fired or who's not or whatever, but you, sir, need to come out and you need to speak to the American people on this and explain what has happened. If you cannot produce files or evidence or information, fine, but let's have an honest adult conversation about why that has to be. This code of silence now, this omerta that's being imposed on us is ridiculous. Sorry.
Well, can I ask you, because for people that don't know, Kristen follows a lot of third rail topics and conspiracy theories and, you know, things in the news that you're always like a few months ahead of the mainstream, I think. You know, is your audience, we have a bunch of clips, which I apologize to our people who pulled them because we didn't get a chance to get to them, but people are very angry about this. Like even at Turning Point, there was a clip of like a young MAGA guy saying that Trump is now part of the deep state. I know your audience is very, you know, interested in this subject, very connected to this subject. How damaging is it going to be if they just move on and don't address any of it or release anything?
I mean, look, there are always going to be a lot of people on the right. We're already seeing it right now, who are going to fall into line. And I don't mean that in a condescending way. My significant other, he's going to come on my live stream later and argue with me about this because I think that he thinks that I've got some nutty opinions on this and I'm just kind of lost my head on it. There are definitely going to be people who are going to say, look at the alternative. We don't want a Kamala type in here. We want Trump to be able to continue with his agenda. We like what he's doing on immigration or other things. And so look, yeah, it's fishy. It's weird. They haven't handled the messaging well, but let's just suck it up. This is not that important. I understand that perspective, but look, human beings are not rational, and there is something that just sticks in the craw on this thing. I'm sorry, it just does, and people don't like being condescended to or gaslit. So if Trump and his people just continue to ignore this and it's business as usual, and they just persist obstinately in this refusal to really come to the table on this with their people, with their voters, then I do think that there are going to be a certain number of people who are going to be disgusted. Now, is it going to sink him and his agenda for the rest of this term? I don't know, but it's something that is going to dog him, just like those emails dogged Hillary Clinton because she had the same damned condescending attitude about that and Benghazi.
Yeah. What do you think is the reason they don't? Because I should get my tinfoil hat out, but that won't bother you or Miranda. I do think there's an Epstein list, and I do think he killed himself. I do. I'm sorry. I do think there's like a client list, and I do think, again, we had Nancy Grace on, and Nancy Grace gave a really good explanation of why.
Or he did not?
We don't. We don't think.
No, I don't think he killed himself. I think he was murdered. And like I said, Nancy Grace, who is one of the most famous prosecutorial minds on the earth, agrees with me, and she did an explanation.
There's time missing from the security video. It was edited.
Like the metadata is missing.
Yes, and it was like edited on Adobe or something like that. It's so stupid.
So what do you think I think someone's trying to hide something or protect someone. And I don't know if you were the one that told me like that there's a theory floating around that it's like the people on this list are so famous and so powerful that it would like make the economy collapse, that like people would like go into mass hysteria. Do you think that's a theory that's rational?
I don't think people are going to go into mass hysteria. First of all, that's a cop out. We already know now that aliens exist and they've been coming to our planet and interfering with shit, and nobody cares.
Yeah,
we're like, and where's my raise?
That is a
so expensive. Yeah.
I'm sorry, that is a narcissistic cop out. It's like when you're arguing with a narcissist and they try to turn it on you, like, don't get upset. Nobody is actually losing their minds on this. Life will go on. What they don't like is the fact that people are going to have their reputations tarnished and they're going to be jeered at for a time and things like that. And look, Megan, I don't think that everybody who took those flights or who associated with him with Epstein, I don't think everybody is implicated. Although I do agree with your guest that if you kept hanging out with that dude after the Florida arrest and he had to go to jail and all of that, then come on, you were a glutton for punishment on the level of stupidity, at least.
It's hard for me to rationalize, though, like Bill Clinton, just knowing his history.
Oh, dude, that guy's totally guilty. No, come on.
Yeah, like it's like
we saw the shoulder massage pictures with that.
Have you seen
on Tall Girl? No.
Have y'all seen the video of Bongino? It's posted on my Instagram too, of Bongino before he became FBI director. He's on Tim Pool's show, and he's talking about how he had spoken to a source that he totally 100% trusted, a Secret Service guy who was on Clinton's detail when they were with Jeffrey Epstein and saw Clinton going into the back with clearly underage women. Now, I understand that's hearsay, but I'm saying this is the deputy director now of the FBI who was just months ago attesting to this kind of behavior. So I definitely think that there are some people, powerful people who did bad stuff.
Bill
How
Gates,
much?
like,
I mean, his wife has even basically said so, hasn't she?
Yeah, his wife left him over it. And again, I would too
like
if I were
with
him,
Gail
like,
King. I mean, that's pretty
well,
damning.
it's just like there's something about, maybe I'm just taking Schadenfreude out of the fact that like a lot of people that I think are scumbags are on the list. Like, I'm like, well, duh. Like, you know, like obviously they're like, and again, I'm not trying to like whatever here, but you know, the Kennedy family could reel it in, like in general. Like they could like stop being so disgusting with a lot of the things that they do.
They have
And it's
such
like
a history when it comes to sex, dude. Such
totally.
a history.
And like if you look on the files that were released, like it's like every member of the Kennedy family except RFK, I believe, is on like this list. It's like, what are you all like? I just don't understand whatever. But I'll give that Ben and Kristen both said we can't just demonize every single person who's been associated with him at all. That's fine. But I do think that there must be some even bigger people that we don't know. And the elephant in the room is Trump is associated with him. Do you think there's a chance that he's just trying to save his own behind in this?
I think, yes, I absolutely do. I think that it's pretty hard to deny that Trump was probably a fairly frequent associate of Epstein's, simply because when a journalist years ago did a profile on Epstein, wasn't Trump quoted? And that was one of the people that they went to get like a character reference, so to speak, on Epstein is Trump. And he said he's a terrific guy. He's a great friend of mine or whatever.
Well,
so
he
I
said
think
something too, like he likes younger girls just like I do. You know, like
well,
he specifically
he did
pointed
say,
that
I don't
out.
want to put words in his mouth. He said that Epstein liked younger women, but he said he's a fan of beautiful women as I am. Look, I don't think ultimately, like, I actually don't think if you put a gun to my head and said, what's the truth here? I actually don't think that Trump was probably into underage women. But do I know that? No. But I do think that probably he associated with Epstein enough that if we saw everything, it would probably make him look bad.
Yeah. And I do want to, I'm going to make us t-shirts and hats that say not on the Epstein list, because I actually like, whatever it's worth, like I actually am taking a source of pride that like neither me, anyone with my last name, anyone I love in politics, anyone I'm close friends with in politics, like none of them are on the list. And
you
I'm like,
should. Well,
you're
big, like your family is such a big family. And
I mean not really, but
no, but seriously, but not only in esteem, but let's face it, wealthy family. And so if your family didn't get caught in the Epstein net, then that shows that they had some discretion. I mean, I think your mom even said something about him in an interview, right?
Yeah, she did. And people keep sending me that.
Are they
and
twisting it?
Like, well, people are not that she like, because she said that like it was, her quote is like, it was known that he was like my mother worked in the she worked for STEM, which is Demi Moore's company that fights and combats sex trafficking. They like worked together for a while, so she knows a lot about sex trafficking, and nothing like makes her more on tilt than talking about sex trafficking, as anyone should, because it's like disgusting. I mean, it's,
and people
horrific.
should understand too that you can, like in your mom's case, you can hear something through the gossip chain, or you can hear someone say, he's into like younger women. I hope all of them are of age. I don't know, that sort of thing. You can't take that to a prosecutor. You can't bring someone down with that. So like, there's not always a way to report one's suspicions, but that shows though that that it was known among these people that you're talking about when they got on his plane, right? That he had this reputation, I would assume.
For the record, I never heard his name until, like, I never knew anything about him until it was a public story. I do want to ask you, going forward, because obviously this isn't going away, if President Trump called you in his office or Pam Bondi called you in her office and was like, give me advice, Kristen, what would you tell them to, I don't know if you can fix it now, but stop the bleeding?
I mean, I think that what Trump's supporters want, and the MAGA people want at least, is for him to get back to being the, yes, bombastic, but hey, down to earth and uncondescending and straight talking guy that he has. I think they believe mostly Ben over his tenures in office. This new Trump, this Trump that's bridling even at the questions being asked and that's putting out these absolutely like insane tweets on Truth Social. This is like, I know people say, oh, it's the same old Trump. No, this is like a new thing. It's embarrassing, as Candace Owens said the other day on Twitter. And so I would say to get back to that and to have a little faith that people can handle some straight talk, even if you can't disclose everything. You're going to need to give people something. You're going to need to explain why you can't disclose things and give people more of an idea of why you and your people have been flailing about message wise. It's the dramatic shifts and the reversals. And, oh, Pam Bondi, I've got a truckload of stuff. And, oh, it's getting closer to my desk. Oh, I can see it. It's coming. It's almost here. I mean, the status reports that were just ridiculous that set the stage for all this. It needs to be explained what was going on there. But I would say to Trump, it's kind of like in my favorite movie, Apocalypse Now, when Marlon Brando says to Martin Sheen, do you think my methods are unsound? And Sheen looks at him like he's crazy and says, sir, I don't see any method at all. And that's what I would say to Trump. I don't see any method at all right now, dude. I do not.
Yeah. And I don't think this is going to go away. And one of the things that's making me anxious is like Ro Khanna is saying that he's going to like put a bill together to make sure that this is exposed in the Epstein files. This is going to be a win for Democrats, even though like they have a leg to stand on at all. But they, because they could have done something when Biden was president and chose not to. But Democrats, if they're smart, they'll take this and run. And this is a soft white underbelly for Trump. This is a place that they can hit him really hard. And this is bad. I cannot spin this any other way. And there's like really bad PR. And I don't know what happens next, but we're all going to be watching. And is there anything else you want to say, Kristen, before we say goodbye at the end of the show? I'll see you Monday and Wednesday next week.
Yeah, I was like, are you back on Wednesday?
No, absolutely.
We'll save a spot for you. Yeah.
Nothing else. I appreciate you. I appreciate you all. And my viewers can check me out, Colonel Curts 99, YouTube and Twitter and Instagram. Thank you.
I want to watch you
I
in
love your work.
Fight each other. Yeah.
Yeah. Come back. Seriously. You're my Epstein go-to expert. You and Jessica Krause. Not to give too much away. We are on a text chain together and we're always
I'm so
texting each other.
Jessica has been on this thing for a long, long time. And
she's like interviewed Gaslane, right? I don't know how to say her name.
Gaslane,
yeah. Sorry. It's like a weird British name. Yeah.
Right.
But no, you guys have really been like boots on the ground for a really long time. And like how amazing in my life. I have these two amazing experts on this, but yeah, nobody's gonna give. And just read Jessica's work. She's not happy either right now. So yeah. All right, Kristen, come back literally anytime. We love you. The audience loves you. Thank you
so much.
And see you soon. And then thank you all so much for listening and watching. We'll be back again on Wednesday. And then I am going to, I can't tell you where I'm going, but I'm going on a little trip to do a very special interview. We've got more interviews coming, you guys, more fun interviews. So excited. And my plane is delayed 30,000 hours. So I'm taking a road trip with Ashley.
Oh, you guys are driving it out?
Yes, we're taking a Great American Road Trip. So I hope that Ashley doesn't kick me out of her car.
Griswold. Oh my God.
I know.
I'm so excited.
It's driving distance, but it's a long drive. And so we'll have definitely things to talk about on Wednesday. Thank you again, Ashley, for letting me tag along. We have a great interview coming next week. We are filming it tomorrow. And I'm very excited. And like I said, we have some really good people coming down the pike of some very high profile people who want to talk to us and do sit downs, much like Osha Vance. So thank you to Two Way for giving us the opportunity, and thank you for all our people coming up. And just pray for Ashley and I in the car. Pray Ashley doesn't want to kill me. Doesn't want to throw me out of the car. Say, walk, bitch. Start hitchhiking.
Let me know. I'll send you an Uber. It'll be fine.
Yes. All right, and thank Nick for coming on. It was a treat.
I will. I gotta call him and see how it felt. Crazy.
You did great.
I know, sweet boy.
Thank you all for watching. We'll see you on Wednesday.
Bye, guys.